Hey friends, it's been so long since I made a video. I've been taking a blogging class, so I needed to take a break to focus on that. Anyway, I'm back and so much has changed. We have relocated to Covenant Pines Bible Camp in McGregor, Minnesota for the fall, and it's just been awesome. I wanted to do my video outside, but of course it's raining, so I thought I could sit in front of my wooden walls in my cabin that I'm living in. Anyway, um, super excited. And the reason that I bring that up, you guys, is because God called us to Covenant Pines for this season. God spoke to me and my husband and brought us here. And I want to spend some time over the next couple weeks to unpack what it means to hear the voice of God and how to know when God is actually speaking to you. A lot of times it starts with a nudge, that gut feeling, that idea or thought that seems to come out of nowhere, that comes from without you almost, but is moving within you. A lot of times, I think, whether we're following Jesus or not, we feel those things and just dismiss them. But I think a lot of times God's trying to speak to us. We just need to learn how to listen. So I have 4 questions that I have found really helpful for me to ask when I'm wondering if God is really speaking to me. So the first question is what I'm sensing in alignment with God's word? God will never tell us to do something that doesn't line up with his word. So obvious example is that if you feel like God is telling you to murder somebody, he's not, because that is a sin. I'm not going to belabor this point. There's a lot of information about God speaking through his word. But that is the first question that we need to be asking, is what I'm sensing in line with God's word. The second thing is what do my godly mentors and friends think? I'm not saying every decision you ever make, you need to run past people. But some of the bigger ones are the ones that you're questioning. You guys, I have a group of people that anytime I'm making a big decision, I reach out to and I ask them to pray. Because the good news is, God is not going to just speak to me. I deeply, deeply believe that that group of people, if they are truly praying and asking for God's will, he's going to also speak to them. He's not just going to speak to me. So the second question to ask yourself is, what do my godly friends and mentors say? The third thing is, what are my emotions telling me? Or how are my emotions at play? You guys, emotions play a huge role in our life, but one role they do not get to play is decision maker. And our emotions cloud our judgment, our perspective, and oftentimes our decision making. We need to step back and evaluate how our emotions are clouding our judgment and how they are guiding our decisions. They can play a part, but they cannot be the decision maker. And fourth, you guys, the question to ask is, am I being led by peace or chaos? Several years ago, I was given the opportunity to apply for my dream job. I was sure that's what God had for me. So I stepped forward and applied for that job. But every time I took a step forward, I was met with strife and chaos. And I kept stepping forward because I really deeply believed that's what God had for me. But through that process, I learned that my God, our God, is not a God of chaos. He's a God of order. He has plans for me and you, and he promises peace that passes all understanding. So when you're wondering if God's speaking to you, the questions I would ask are, 1, is it in line with God's word? 2, what do my godly friends and mentors think? 3, where are my emotions at play here? How is that clouding my judgment? And 4, am I being met with peace or chaos? And you know what, friends? There's going to be times where you ask yourself those questions and you're still not going to know for sure. So stay tuned, because next week we're going to dig into some reasons of maybe why we aren't hearing what God has for us. Maybe why it doesn't feel very clear, the path that God has for us to walk on. So anyway, I'm so glad to be back. I'm excited to share our journey here at Covenant Pines. And I can't wait to learn alongside you, to hear God's voice, and to see how He guides you and where He leads you. So, anyway, have a great night, you guys, and we will talk next week.